people say,
You're muted, Sean.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. There we go. Hey, it's Friday. It is episode 993, November 12th, 2021. Hope everybody's doing well. Did you send out your messages of joy, of gratitude, of hope, of love? Listen, I really want to make it clear. Let's move that over this way. This idea about your brain, you have got to work on it. And let me explain why. This isn't, it seems self-serving, and it might be. It could be timing and space. I don't know that I made this happen, but let me let you in on a little secret. Single-celled organisms. We think single-celled organism, it's a single cell. It's this little amoeba. It's this little thing of just nothingness, and it's there, and it exists, and it's everything. But if I take a Petri dish, this isn't a Petri dish, it's a regular dish, but if I take a Petri dish and I put a whole bunch of single-celled things in here, and they're independently operating, and I put poison in one end of the Petri dish, they all seem to move away. And if I put food in that same end of the Petri dish, a different Petri dish, I go get a different Petri dish, and I put food in that Petri dish, they all seem to move towards the food. How do they know? How does a single-celled thing know whether something is going to keep it alive or keep it dead? It has no brain. Doesn't need a brain. A single-celled thing does not need a brain. It seems to operate on its own. There's some kind of energy, something there that gives it smarts, right? Gives it smarts. So now what happens is that because of the way the formation of over time and space, single-cell things figured, it's a lot better to be a community. It's a lot better to be a community. We can work better as a community. And then they started to amalgamate. They started to gather together. They started to collect, and they started to make these multicellular organisms. Well, you and I are a multicellular organism, wouldn't you say so? We're to the tune of 30 trillion cells. Here's the part that I want you to just sit back and listen to for just a second. I need you to really grasp this next part, because it could change. It could change the way you do things. See, every cell by itself is able to do. Let me ask you this. Just drop a... Oh, I didn't turn on, what's your who's it? Because I thought it was a weekend. It's not. It is Friday, so therefore we do need to have a little bit of Instagram going on. I want to do a live. And my thing is over here. We'll just put that right there. You're getting to see how the sausage is made. And we'll go live right about now. There we go. So, you're this organism of 30 trillion cells, and you have this ability to make some decisions. Well, the reality is that you need to understand how those cells operate. Would you say, just drop a 1 in the chat if you know that your cells all kind of have their own world. Hey, Jessica, apologies I thought it was a weekend. I have no idea what day it is, and I was a little late turning on Instagram. So, drop a 1 in the chat if you know that cells kind of have their own world. Each cell is its own little world. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know that. So, if cells are there, really only one person in the VIP group? So, listen, I'm not embarrassing you to do it. I'm just asking you to participate. So, when you realize that every cell is its kind of its own world, and it has its own ability to, for all intents and purposes, think, right? You got the mitochondria, you got all of this stuff going on. Every cell is driving is okay. Just a 1 works. No need for the rest of it. Good morning, Mateo. If they're driving, Mateo might be in the car. Good morning, Mateo. I'm the president of his fan club. So if every cell has the ability to eat, to do its stuff, to absorb information, to absorb nutrients, that's a powerful thing. So now let me ask you this. If that's the case, if every cell has the ability to absorb or not absorb information and absorb food, every cell has about 100,000 antennae on it, they say. About half of them are to receive chemicals, the other half to receive electrical. We talked about that yesterday. Electrical information travels at 186,000 miles a second. Chemical travels at about 1 centimeter a second. It's why it takes 20, 30 minutes. Think about it. Measure your body and see if it doesn't take at 1 centimeter a second. See how long it takes to get across your body. Just a thought. So now with that being said, if every cell is its own little kingdom, and cells have the ability to operate independently of each other, why is it then that your cells don't revolt in your body? Because here's what's important to understand. Here's what's important to really grasp, and I hope it sinks in. I really hope this sinks in. I hope I can get across the level of absolute awness, the absolute level of importance that exists when I talk about this. If all of these cells operated independently and if we were single cell organisms, we'd operate, we'd move around, we'd bump into each other. Hey, hi, Bob, how are you? Tommy, good to see you. Hey, there's Sally, good to see you. And you'd be in your own little world. When you got 30 trillion of them, here's the thing that happens. When multicellular organisms become together, they give up their right. These cells give up their right to have independent control. So therefore, it gets turned over to an operating system. Their independent control gets turned over to an operating system. So, and this is scientific. This isn't me coming up with some kind of stuff. Yeah, let's be clear. I ain't that smart. So now follow me on this. If 30 trillion cells give up their independence and they turn over their idyllic control to a particular unit, what do you think the unit is they turn their control over to? For those of you that aren't driving, type it in the chat. Where do you think these cells turn over and look to get their direction from? This is important. Where do you think the cells, the 30 trillion cells in your body, look to get direction from? Yeah, your brain. Your brain. When you hear everybody talk about, when I say everybody from Wallace D. Wattles to Napoleon Hill to Bob Proctor to John Assaraf to Tony Robbins, your brain is a radio receiver. Your brain is a radio receiver and a radio giver. A radio signal sender outer. So now 30 trillion cells, even if, here's the key, even if the cells wanted to revolt, they can't. They've given up that control. Because when they show up in mass, the cells in your body, when they show up in mass, they wind up saying, I need to turn over control. And it turns it over to the brain. Now, follow me on this. This is where this is absolutely critical. If your body is doing something in particular, do you think working out the muscles are going to change the way your body functions? Do you think putting yourself on a calorie restrictive diet is going to make you happier? Do you think that not drinking the water that you say you're going to drink, somehow your body's going to magically get better and your cells are all going to get happy just because you're thinking about drinking the water? When your cells want to get healthy, listen, they have enough knowledge. Listen, if you've ever eaten anything, how many of you have ever eaten anything that did not agree with you, that maybe was bad, that maybe was a little tainted, and you got sick and you threw up? How did that happen? Who knew that? Your brain is up here. Your brain is up here in your stomach. Oh, that didn't agree with me. Oh, wow. There was something. Was there something bad with that cheese, right? Was there something? Y'all follow me on this? And all of a sudden, your stomach got upset. How did it know it didn't agree with you? It has to have some kind of form of intelligence. I understand the vagus nerve and the brain is your stomach is your second brain. I get that. There's neural endings in the stomach. I get that. Did you know that the smartest dog you could think of has about the equivalent number of neural connections in your stomach? They have that many in their brain. See, our brain would have been twice its size had we had all of the neural connections. So the vagus nerve that runs from the brain down into your abdomen, into your gut, that's why you get I get this gut feeling. So, all of this to say, your body does these things. Your cells do these things, but they give up ultimate control to the brain. So even if your cells wanted to get healthier, they can't because they're following the direction of your brain. You can want to work out more. You can go on a diet program. You can go walking or think you're going to go walking or talk about going walking. The reason that you don't do these things is because of your brain. Period. End of story. So I would encourage you to find ways to work on your brain, to feed your brain better. You have got to give yourself the proper fuel. You've got to give yourself some jet fuel. If anybody has ever taken a Monster or an energy drink to give yourself energy, you are giving your brain some energy, but if you look at the amount of carbs in there, the amount of sugars in there, you're feeding your brain glucose. Your body makes something else. Your body makes something when you go into a starvation mode, right? You've seen people who are 15 days in the wilderness and they've had water and they've had maybe some nuts and berries. They're still alive. 7-day fast, 8-day fast, 20-day fast, 21-day fast. They talk about it in the Bible, 21-day fast. There's churches that still do it, 21-day fasts. It's usually the start of the year to clean the body out. How can you go 21 days without eating? Because your body has a safety mechanism built into it. And when you understand that safety mechanism and when you activate that safety mechanism, and there's ways to activate it, just like, listen, if some of you take vitamin C because you don't like to eat 72 oranges, if some of you take vitamin K and you eat onions and you get vitamin K that helps the hemoglobin in your blood, some of you take GABA, or some of you take ashwagandha, or some of you take St. John's wort, or some of you take some cinnamon. Why? Because your body's deficient in it. Your body is not deficient in aspirin. Your body is not deficient in Zoloft. Your body is not deficient in, I don't know, pick a drug. Your body's not deficient in it. What your body's deficient in is the signaling capabilities to produce those chemicals. Right? We've heard of babies who are born crack babies. We've heard of babies who are born addicted to drugs. That happens because of the blood flow that came from mom. And so we do things to help the baby survive. We do things to take the baby off those drugs so that its normal drugs that it has can help its body heal, grow, and take care of itself. What are you addicted to right now? What old story are you addicted to right now? When you decide to work on your brain, listen, when you read, words do not teach. I just saw a post from 10 years ago. I said that. Facebook popped up one of these memories from 2011, November 11th, 2011. Words don't teach. My words don't teach. They don't. They come into your inner ear canal, they vibrate your eardrum, and there's a signal, a chemical that gets created that says, this is what he's saying. That's why you could be sitting in an audience with somebody and you look over and they go, what'd they say? And they go, blah, 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 blah. And they go, what? I didn't hear that. When did he say that? Because sometimes we dilute, we delete, and we distract ourselves from our own success. So why do you need to work on your brain? Because that's the thing that controls everything. And here's the reality. We talked about it yesterday. It's a 1 in a million. It's a 1 in a million opportunity. There's, right? Dumber and Dumber. I was trying to remember where I saw the clip. Dumber and Dumber. Somebody played the clip where this beautiful woman is being, Jim Carrey is one of the Dumber and Dumber actors, right? And he asked this woman, and she's this gorgeous woman who plays in the movie. He says, "So, what do you think the chances are that you and I could maybe go out for a drink?" And she looks at him and she says, 1 in a million. And he goes, "So you're saying there's a chance, right? 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance." Your subconscious brain has 1 million times more, 1 million times plus neural processing power, because it has to, it's designed that way, than your conscious mind. You hold a thought in your conscious mind. You hold a thought in your conscious mind. Yes, true optimism, Dana. You hold a thought in your conscious mind. And if there's programming that runs contradictory to that in your subconscious mind, and your conscious mind, your conscious thought is looking to break the pattern, of the subconscious programming, which thought do you think's eventually going to win out? The brain doesn't say you'll never win out. It just says unless you're going to make it a priority, unless you're going to make it a commitment, unless you're going to put in the pattern, because that's the only thing the brain needs is the pattern. If it doesn't have the pattern, it sees it as a threat. How many of you read a book, 10 pages of a good book every day? Every day. All right? How many of you read 10 pages of the same book every day? How many of you journal about the book? How many of you teach on that book? Because listen, you hear me say it, you'll remember 5%. You read it, you might remember 25%. You want to know the best way to learn something? Teach it. Upwards of 95% retention. It's one of the reasons I do this every morning, is to teach myself, is to form it in my memory, to create the new patterns. So you don't work on your brain. You don't get enough sleep. You don't get enough water. Your brain is dehydrated. Your body is dehydrated. I get enough water. Do you get good water? Do you realize that the hidden message in water is significant? If I leave water out, here's a scary one. If I leave water out, how many of us believe that everything operates under frequency? Everything has a vibration. Everything has a vibration. Do you understand? Do you grasp the concept of you could have the purest, cleanest water that exists on the planet? You could have, listen, there's a company out there, great company. I use their products, Kangen. You can get the 9.5 Kangen water, 9.5, right? You can get that information and and you can drink that water. But if there's nastiness in your house, meaning there's words of songs that have cuss words in it or this in it or even the negative thoughts. You get off the phone with somebody and you get frustrated. Do you realize what picks up that vibration? Do you realize if there's negativity, negative energy running through your house, the water picks that up? Water has memory. Do you realize that you can influence what? Listen, you're not going to get. You're not going to win any kind of argument with me saying that's not true, because my son did 3 years. He did tests on Michio Kushi's hidden message in water. First year we did it on rice. Second year we did it on frequency. Third year we did it on frequency, and then healed the water. So if you've got bad stuff playing in your house, if you got anything with curse words or anything like that, anything that would be typically negative by nature, negative by normal standards, that water picks it up, and that water is now contaminated. If your thoughts, if you get frustrated, agitated, aggravated, how far do your thoughts travel? How far do your thoughts travel? If you could be, listen, I've been in South Texas, and my bride has thought of me, and we've thought of each other at the same time and text each other at the same time. I've had friends who are in Serbia or in Macedonia or in Slovenia, and we think of each other at the same time. I've had friends who are in Asia, in Hong Kong. We think about each other at the same time. 12-hour time difference is, that's the sun moving around the globe. That's us spinning around the sun. Thought travels 186,000 miles a second. So you have this thought, you have this energy, and it goes out. It goes out. Does it only go out in one direction? When your thoughts leave your body, does it just go out forward the way you're looking? Is it like laser? No. So these Friday, Fear Day. So Fear Day. I spelled Fear Day wrong. Firday. So you really have to work on this radio receiver. It sounds so simple when Napoleon Hill talks about it. It sounds so simple when Wallace D. Wattles talks about it. When it says that your brain is this radio receiver, and whatever you send out, you can pick up, and whatever you're wanting to pick up is out there available as well. Do you know which part of the radio receiver is doing the most signaling? Is it the conscious mind or the subconscious mind? How many times have people walked into an environment, walked into a room you were in, and you went, ooh, bad vibe. That's vibration. That's the vibration they're giving off, the vibration you're picking up. You didn't go, oh, they seem to be out of sorts, and their cellular activity is a little confused. No, you say bad vibes. You say bad vibes, good vibes. Do you realize that you can cancel out vibration? Do you realize that if you drop 2 stones in the water at the same time, there's going to be times where they amplify and the waves become twice as high? That's why when you're in an argument, anybody ever been in an argument? And you get mad and they get mad and you get madder, they get madder, and before you know it, you're in a full-blown argument. I mean, like, just absolutely cutting each other's throats. How is that possible when it was about taking out the garbage? How do you think things multiply? How do you think things, what do they call that? Escalate. Right? How do they escalate? Escalate, like an escalator, go up, or de-escalate, down, Sound effects are free. Here's the key. You can start today. You can start right now taking control of your brain. Some of you have been around long enough to hear me talk about when you get out of the shower, night or day or morning or whenever, when you do things differently. Do things differently. Get in the shower, do a 360. Soap yourself up in the opposite order. Use the soap backward. I don't know. Do something different. Start from the very moment you wake up, putting yourself in control of your body, not your body in control of you. Because if you wake up and you go through your morning and you're like, I got to have a cup of coffee, that's a bunch of bullshit. In order for you to say, I got to have coffee in the morning, First of all, you're addicted. But second of all, you're feeding the addiction by saying, I have to have coffee. You do not need coffee. I promise you, your house on fire, God forbid yesterday, you wake up, your house on fire, you're not going, I can't go until I can't do anything until I have a cup of coffee. Don't feed me that horse crap that you got to have. Listen, you can't talk to me till I have my coffee. We perpetuate this. I understand. Yes, I like to have a little caffeine. I like to have a little warmth in my body. Do you realize? Follow me on this. We talked about this yesterday. They did surveys. Where that if you gave somebody a warm beverage to hold and then an interviewee came up and talked to them, you gave the interviewee, the person who's going to be interviewed, a warm beverage, and then all of a sudden the interviewer shows up and asks them a few questions on a survey, and then leaves, and then 20 minutes later, they talk to the person who was asked the questions, and they said, what did you like about the interviewer? And 100%, 98%, 95%, the people who were given a warm beverage thought the person was warm and friendly and kind. The other half of the participants of the interviewees were given a cold beverage, an iced beverage. And they thought the person was a little cold, a little off, a little distant. So do you realize that when you put your hands around a warm cup of something and you go, oh, it's your desire to want to feel good. It will change your mood. How can a warm cup of beverage on your hands make you want to change your entire body? Because here's the part that you all know, but maybe you forgot, maybe you missed it in science class. You have a mind-body connection and a body-mind connection. You walk down an alleyway and all of a sudden you hear a bump in the dark. Your body goes, let's run, let's go. Mind-body. Somebody caresses you. Somebody you love comes over and they touch you and you absolutely relax. Right? That's a body-mind connection. If any of us have ever gone for a massage and we feel wonderful from the massage, do you realize, listen, follow me on this. This is crazy. If you've ever thought about this, and you probably have, you set an appointment to meet with a stranger to have them rub all over your body. You do not know this person. They enter into your space. They put you in a little dark room. They put the lights down. They put a little music on. They put a little aromatherapy on the pillow. Maybe they got a candle going. And all of a sudden they walk in and they say, okay, go ahead and unrobe. Go ahead and undress under the covers. And then they come in and they peel back the covers and they start rubbing you. And you're like, this is cool. This is awesome. And you're paying for it. They ask, how's the pressure? And you're like, you don't know this person. Do you realize how close they are to you? Have you ever interviewed the person to see what energy state they're in? As they're putting their hands on you and allowing an exchange of energy, you realize they really never touch you. The electrons in our body, they repel each other and they really never touch you. It's just the force they're pushing. It feels like they're doing a deep tissue massage. We never really touch anything. That's just a physics thing. That's just a science thing. But the next time you let somebody touch you and rub you, you might want to check what state they're in. You might want to check what state you're in, because we have a tendency to match frequency. So all of this to say, it's important to work on your brain. For those of you on Instagram, if you go to SeanGMurphy.com and you get signed up and you get on the email list, the first email list that you can participate in, on SeanGMurphy.com is the 52 Scars, right? It's a weekly message that goes out. I've been missing a couple of weeks, but it's a message that goes out about the scars we carry. Paulo Coelho, in his book Manuscript Found in a Craw, talked about the scars we carry are stronger than the sword that made them, and we've all got scars. So I talk about these scars we carry. I'm not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. These things, these scars that were laid upon us, these wounds that were laid upon us as children and as young adults, that some of us are still speaking from the wound. And nobody wants to hear your message from the wound because they have their own wounds they're working on healing. They want to hear you speak from the healed scar. So I teach you through a process over the course of 52 weeks how to do that. If you want to join us there, go to SeanGMurphy.com and you can get signed up there. The other thing that's going to be happening is the more I dive into the brain, and I've been doing this for 10 years, and research is now allowing me to see more, to have more. Is that Taylor from Dallas? Hey, Taylor, how are you? Good to see you, my love. Thank you for being absolutely an amazing soul in social media and letting us participate in your journey. So, SeanGMurphy.com. Go there, get signed up. It's the first thing right there above the fold, 52 Scars. Put your email address in there. And let's have some conversations, because I'm going deep into it. And if you're female in nature, if you're female mind, and you want to be a part of what I'm doing called the Warrior Brain Training for the female entrepreneur mind, the entrepreneur brain, the female entrepreneur brain, I'm creating a community around that specifically for the female brain. So you've got to do some work on your brain. You got to do some work on your subconscious. So it's some deep work. Here's the first thing I'd ask you to do. Pay attention to the words you use today. Here's your homework. Here's your success work. And for those of you on Instagram and Facebook, here's what you can do over the weekend. Because we do the VIP on the weekend. You can have a conversation with yourself. And you have one on a continuous basis. Pay attention to when you use a deflating dialogue. Oh my gosh, this is good. Yeah, but look at how many times you deflate the high energy of a conversation. Look at the high energy that you have, maybe you were in, but all of a sudden you instantly check yourself, right? Bob Proctor talks about it. We all have this median example of who we are. We have this line that we operate on that's called our own individual averageness. Sometimes we go high, we get happy, woo! And then we come back to the average. Right? That's literally what it means by raising the bar. We have this bar that we operate on. And then when we're low, we hang out down here, we're low, and we're not feeling so good, we're not so happy. Sometimes we hang out here a little longer than we can, but then we figure out a way to come back up to average, and average seems amazing from our low energy. There's an old Irish saying. It says, listen carefully, may the best of your yesterdays be the worst of your tomorrows. May the best of your yesterdays be the worst of your tomorrows. Imagine if that became the new mantra. Imagine if that became your Kaizen, 0.1% improvement every day. You have this amazing 30 trillion cell organism that when you decide you are going to put it to work, you are going to make it perform, you are going to have it do its best, you won't even recognize yourself in 18 months. Oh, by the way, that's about how long it takes. 21 days to form a habit. The next person that says that to you, well, let's just put it this way. You know they have no idea what they're talking about. 21 days to form a habit. If I hold you at gunpoint, if I have you highly emotionally charged, why do you think there's 20 cigarettes in a pack of cigarettes? There's a chemical addiction that's in there. Nobody smokes because they like the burning feeling of hot air going into their lungs and all of the chemicals and everything else. Nobody really wants that. It's the addictive quality. So now you come along and say, okay, for 21 days, I'm going to read a book. For 21 days, I'm going to read the book, The Magic. It's got 28 days, and at the end of it, I'll be living in magic, and I'll be filled with gratitude, and I'll do it for 28 days. I'll do it 7 more days than it's supposed to be. Are you laughing yet? Thank you, Derek. I'll check on that as soon as we get done with the call here this morning. I've had some issues recently with that, but I will check that. Thank you for letting me know, sir. So, here's what I'm going to leave you with. Do an energy scan right now. Just check your body. There's energy balled up somewhere. There's energy stuck somewhere in you that's residing in you. You may call it discomfort. You may call it pain. I got this knot in my shoulder. Ain't no knot in your shoulder. That's balled up energy. There's no knot in your shoulder. It's energy. My side just hurts. My this, that, or the other. See where the energy is. Ask it, literally, ask it why it's here. And then listen. You might be surprised with the answers you get. So, folks on Facebook and folks on Instagram, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to go have a little quick conversation with my VIP group. If you want to learn how to join the VIP group, you can go to Personal Undevelopment, personalundevelopment.com, and you can get signed up there. All right, everybody, I appreciate you. Love you bunches. I will see you on Monday, Facebook and Instagram. We do the VIP sessions on the weekend. So I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have an amazing day. I'm your head misfit, Sean Murphy. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. There's Instagram. And love you, Facebook. Live stream. Did I end it? Yep. All right, VIPers, we got about 20 minutes. How can I be of best service to you? Thoughts, comments, feedback. What'd you learn? What'd you like?
I just want to say that this exercise of paying attention to the discounting, what's interesting about it is my little inner child is more on the surface and needing more calming from me as I'm doing that, and I'm happier. It's like instead of feeling like I've been barraged with this